What if I told you that dirt, yes, dirt, could reverse climate change, grow more food, and save the planet? Sounds like something a hippie farmer would say, but stick with me, it's real. Right now, we're losing 23 billion tons of fertile soil every year. That's like dumping a football field's worth of topsoil into the ocean every 5 seconds. At this rate, some scientists say we could run out of farmable soil in just 60 years. No soil, no food. Kind of a problem, right? But there's hope. Regenerative agriculture. It's farming's biggest glow-up, restoring soil, capturing carbon, and making farms more profitable. And the best part? Farmers are already doing it. Welcome to Dr. AgNomad, where we explore how global agriculture is evolving. And yes, why dirt is way cooler than you think. Let's dig in. For decades, modern farming has been like a bad relationship, taking everything and giving nothing back. The result? 30% of the world's farmland is degraded. That's an area the size of South Africa. Gone. And dead soil isn't just bad for farming, it's bad for the planet. Healthy soil traps 3 times more carbon than the atmosphere. But when soil degrades, that carbon gets released, making climate change worse. So yeah, not great. But regenerative agriculture is flipping the script. Instead of depleting the land, it rebuilds it. Here's how it works. Regenerative farming is basically soil rehab, except instead of therapy, it gets compost, biodiversity, and smarter farming techniques. And the best part? Many of these methods aren't new. Indigenous farmers have been using them for centuries. Leaving soil bare is like walking outside without sunscreen. It gets scorched, dries out, and eventually cracks. First up, cover crops, nature's protective shield. Plants like cereal rye, clover, and radishes grown between harvests to protect and enrich the soil. Take Gabe Brown, a farmer in North Dakota. After switching to cover crops and no-till farming, he cut fertilizer costs by 75% and made his farm drought-resistant. Less spending, better crops. Nature literally pays him back. In Iowa, farmers using cover crops saved over $3 million in fertilizer costs. Why? Because plants like clover naturally pull nitrogen from the air and store it in the soil, so farmers don't need to buy as much synthetic fertilizer. Nature's doing the job for free. Maryland is so convinced cover crops work that they pay farmers to plant them. Why? Because it prevents nitrogen runoff from polluting the Chesapeake Bay. Farming that helps the environment instead of harming it. That's refreshing. 2. Crop rotation, soil's balanced diet. Imagine eating nothing but pizza every day. Sounds amazing, until your body is like, hey, maybe a vegetable? That's what happens when farmers plant the same crop over and over. The soil gets exhausted. Crop rotation fixes this by switching up what's grown each season. The result? 25% higher yields and 50% fewer pesticides. It's like a meal plan for dirt, and it works. 3. No-till farming, why less is more. Traditional farming plows soil like it's an extreme sport, flipping and breaking it apart every season. But this actually destroys soil structure, kills beneficial microbes, and leads to erosion. No-till farming is the opposite. Instead of wrecking the soil, farmers plant directly into last season's crop residue. The result? 58% more organic matter, better water retention, and lower costs. Plus, no-till farmers spend 50% less on fuel since they're not joyriding tractors 24/7. 4. Agroforestry, bringing trees back to farms. For centuries, farmers worked with trees instead of bulldozing them. Agroforestry brings that practice back, integrating trees with crops and livestock to create healthier ecosystems. In Kenya, farmers practicing agroforestry have boosted crop yields by 30% while restoring millions of acres of degraded land. More trees, better soil, more food. Funds, managed grazing, cows as ecosystem engineers. Livestock often gets blamed for climate change, but when managed correctly, grazing animals can restore the land instead of destroying it. Instead of letting cows roam like they're at an all-you-can-eat buffet, rotational grazing moves them strategically. Their hooves aerate the soil, their waste fertilizes it, and their grazing helps grass grow back stronger. Ranchers using rotational grazing in the US have doubled their grass production and cut fertilizer costs because nature is handling the job for them. So here's the deal. If we don't fix our farming practices, we're looking at a future with less food, more climate disasters, and dirt that's completely useless. But regenerative farming isn't just a theory, it's already working. By switching to regenerative methods, we could increase global food production by 20%, store more carbon than the Amazon rainforest. Help farmers make more money with fewer chemicals. And guess what? This isn't just for farmers, you can help too. Support regenerative farms. Look for organic, sustainably grown food. Eat a more diverse diet. Give soil the variety it needs. Spread the word. The more people demand sustainable farming, the faster it scales. And that's why we're here on Dr. AgNomad, exploring the future of farming, the science behind it, and the real solutions to global food challenges. So, if you want more videos like this, hit like, subscribe, and let's keep this conversation growing.